The U.S. Supreme Court heard arguments today in a case that could clear the way for publicly funded religious charter schools. Our John Yang has more.
Jeff, in 2023, the Oklahoma Charter School Board approved the creation of St. Isidore of Seville Catholic Virtual School, the nation's first publicly funded religious charter school. But the state Supreme Court blocked it, saying it violated the Oklahoma Constitution's bar on using state money for religious education. The head of the state charter school board told the NewsHour that St. Isidore would benefit Oklahoma.
We have an educational crisis, and my opinion is that we need everybody to join in and help. And I'm hopeful that we will be able to enlist those who are very capable, just like St. Isidore, to come to the table and say, hey, let's get the job done and provide better outcomes for the families of Oklahoma and the children of our future.
But Erica Wright, the founder of the Oklahoma Rural Schools Coalition, said religious education has no place in public schools.
We have 2 kids in public school right now, and we chose to send them there because we want them to get a quality secular education while our family and our trusted pastors guide their religious education.
NewsHour Supreme Court analyst Marcia Coyle was in the courtroom for the arguments today. Marcia, the courtroom was a little different than usual. There were only 8 justices on the bench. Why is that?
Well, John, that's because Justice Barrett decided to step aside from this case. Now, she didn't give any particular reason for that. In fact, she never does. But it's sort of assumed that it's because St. Isidore, the Catholic school that's at the Supreme Court, is being represented by the Religious Liberty Clinic of Notre Dame Law School, where Justice Barrett taught for many years before becoming a judge. And she's also a very close friend of a law professor there who's been a leading advocate of religious charter schools. So I think maybe that's what persuaded her to step aside.
This creates the potential for a tie vote.
What would happen in those cases? Absolutely. It raises the risk of a tie vote. What happens then is that it's the lower court decision that stands. And if that happens here, that means the Oklahoma Supreme Court decision that was against St. Isidore would stand. It doesn't create a precedent. It just doesn't even resolve the issue. The court simply issues a one-sentence order that says because of the tie vote, the lower court opinion is affirmed.
Now, what was the charter school side's argument about why this doesn't violate the prohibition on sectarian education in public schools?
Well, first of all, the Oklahoma State Charter School Board is the entity that brought the case to the Supreme Court, and St. Isidore with it as well. And they claim that Oklahoma charter schools are operated by private organizations, and so is St. Isidore, run by a private organization, the Catholic Archdiocese of Oklahoma City and the Diocese of Tulsa, the city of Tulsa. And because of that, the argument goes they fit within a trio of recent cases by the Supreme Court that say if you hold out a public benefit to private organizations, you can't discriminate just because an organization is religious. So that is their argument. And there was considerable pushback not only from the state attorney general, who is the one who sought the Oklahoma Supreme Court ruling that this is an illegal contract. But for example, Justice Kagan, was looking at charter schools and said they seem like public schools. They're free, they're open to everyone. The state supervises the curriculum. They have to meet certain standards. They can be audited, and the state can even close them. And Justice Jackson also pushed back at the state board, basically saying, I don't think you're looking for this public benefit that everybody has. I think you're looking for a public benefit that no one has. Because, she explained, in their contract with the state board, they X'd out the requirement that curriculum be secular. They amended the requirement that there be no discrimination in order to accommodate church autonomy interests. And she said that no charter school has that. So there was considerable pushback from the liberal side of the court. The Oklahoma's Attorney General, was saying that, while it's true that private organizations operate the charter schools. These are public schools. They've always been public schools. The public understands them to be public schools, and there's a lot of supervision by the state. That's what they are. They are public schools.
So after listening to the arguments, what's your sense of where this is headed?
Well, if you look at the trend in the Supreme Court, you probably would say, based on the arguments that some made, and I'll just note one, Justice Kavanaugh, who said, in Oklahoma, charter schools can organize around a theme. They can be sports, it can be language immersion, it can be STEM, math, English. The only thing it can't be is religion. And he said, this sounds like rank discrimination to me. And so I think that bottom line is there could be a conservative majority in favor of St. Isidore, but that 8-justice number on the court, which sets up the possibility of a 4-4 split, it may be that it's the Chief Justice who will make the difference here. He played his cards very close to the vest, asked questions of each side, and we'll just have to wait and see how it turns out.
Marcia Coyle, thank you very much. We should note that this is the last time we will be talking to Marcia Coyle about the Supreme Court. Tell us what you're going to be doing.
Well, John, I'm hoping to spend more time actually writing about the Supreme Court. I'll continue to follow it and write for the National Constitution Center, which I've been doing a little bit of, but not as much as I probably should be doing. And also, I'll be spending, I assume, more time with my grandchildren that I have.
You're two adorable grandchildren.
But I have to say before I go, John, that that by training and many years of experience, I've been a newspaper reporter, which I've really loved, but I've also felt it was an honor to experience the world of television news, and the very best television news, which is the NewsHour. All of you here, whether you're in front of the camera, behind the camera, in the makeup room, in the control room, or digital, are real professionals and genuinely kind people. So it's been a pleasure.
We are deeply grateful to you for what you've been doing for us all these years and wish you well.
Thanks, John. If you ever need me, you know my number.